You can hear that murmur in the artificial crowd because it means we are about to go live. Hello, everybody. My name is Max Von Neumann. Joining me is Fetch Witten, a.k.a. The Farfetched, and formal casting in sort of a reverse, I don't know, we went back and forth between the two, but we're not going to be going back and forth anymore because we are going closer to the action. It's a new semester, a new season, as it were, Season 2, Week 1 of 2021 for some AEL University Rocket League. I am very excited to see what this season has in store.
Yeah, same. I think it's been really intense the last couple of seasons. The action has picked up. There's been some upsets, some universities making a long run, which we haven't quite expected. So I'm kind of keen to see how this one unfolds.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast for sure, as we have roughly, if I'm not mistaken, around 38 teams, actually, registered for this one. A couple more still on their way, so 36 at the moment. I think we might be jumping up to 38, but as it stands, it's a lot of teams looking to compete. You can see it actually just right there in the corner. But we're going to be starting today all the way down in Group D, which actually tend to have a lot of those really exciting matches in the past. Already in this group, QUT and UQ had a battle earlier in the week. QUT won out, but we're not focusing on that today. It's about the UON Mosquitoes taking on the Monash Deficient, I should say.
Yeah, we've seen the UON Mosquitoes, of course, before. I'm going to have to quickly remake the lobby stuff if you want to talk a little bit about them. Yeah, we've seen a bit about the UON Mosquitoes before. They always do pretty well, but they're never quite that top team. So I'd be keen to see if they can kind of push that extra little bit, as well as, of course, seeing what Monash Deficient have in store for us over the course of the season. And the first time, at least under that name.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting to see as we just take a quick little look at these lineups for our opening match. Jets for Life, Zesty, Vassal, and Kuminator, who I think is the new player on that team over for the UON Mosquitoes. Meanwhile, on Monash, as we saw, Lox is the captain, along with Quick, Phase 11, Pace to Burn, Big Yak Ones, and the real Matty G. So a rather large lineup. Curious to see who we will have playing in that game. Obviously, opening week, a lot to learn about all of these players, sort of where they fit, how they will sort of match up with each other. It's going to be exciting to see where they all sort of lay out at the end of the day. I do know earlier in the afternoon we did kick off our high school league as well, and it was pretty much 3 one-sided affairs. I'm hoping we kind of buck that trend right now with our uni league.
I'm sure it will. Of course, 3 whole series to play, a lot of teams fighting for that early kind of advantage and things like that. I expect there to be some interesting back and forth. We don't tend to get just the clean sweep 3-0s super often. There's some ridiculous upsets we get, even if it's just one game or something. Especially last season in playoffs, of course, you know, that is kind of the nature of it. I think you get a little bit less volatile possibly as you get older in the groups. Like the younger players in the high school league tend to be pretty well either diehard Rocket League players or, hey, this game's fun. Yeah. And you still get some of that university level, of course, but a little bit less. So I do expect to get a slightly closer games. But also, I mean, the high school league did get quite intense in previous iterations. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that evolves.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially that high school league. But before we get into that, there are some people, of course, we need to thank for being able to host yet another wonderful season of AEL Rocket League. Starting from the top, Fetch, who we got?
We have AOC. They are a global leader in, monitor display technology for more than 50 years. AOC has delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for home, office, and gaming. And I can guarantee that we use them at all of our live events, which, you know, hopefully you get a chance to attend. They are fantastic. They're brilliant to use. Second of all, Chatime, fresh iced tea. Chatime is the fastest growing iced tea franchise in Australia. There are over 120 Chatime tea breweries with a commitment to quality ingredients, mix-ins, and a flair for innovative flavor combinations to brew nothing but the best iced teas. And of course, hit us up on social media. Show us pictures of your iced tea orders. We like to sometimes have them when we go on our broadcasts ourselves. And I always need suggestions. You give me some formal, and they're quite good. But I'd be keen to get some suggestions from, of course, our audience as well. Then Indomie, feed your game with Indomie. Try any of the flavors today. I need a list of the flavors, actually, because there are so many.
Yeah.
I kind of forget a lot of them. Indomie noodles are made from carefully selected ingredients, the best quality flour, and fresh spices from the natural resources of Indonesia, giving it a unique and delicious taste. As a result of Indomie's success, their range has expanded to 14 different products. And finally, last but very much not least, Rig. What it takes to win. Rig develops headsets, delivering a superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team and enhance your gaming experience. And listen to our voices in ultra high quality.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. But you know what else I like the sound of? A pitch that is raring and ready to go. I do believe a majority of our players have jumped in, so we can give them the word to go when ready. And that means we're going to be kicking off our 2021 season number 2 with a bang. Again, UON will be on the blue side. In orange, it is Monash. First look at the new season. Looks very similar to the old season, but trust me, this is our brand new kickoff. We are underway.
We have a play called Big Yikes in this game. I'm just excited already, but Zesty running off with an early aggression and setting up a very good offensive kind of positioning. Jets for life. Doesn't quite get the ball close across goal. Goes sailing quite high, but again, Zesty, that lovely little secondary touch to kind of keep this attack going. And yeah, this is a very, very strong attacking line from University of Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle definitely probably going to be the favorites in this one. It's kind of that known versus the unknown. However, Locks is a player that has been making a few waves, if they are who I think that they are, on the amateur scene. It's been starting to play a bit more, was in ODL, as we see a nice little back and forth. Vassal's going to take that shot. Big Yikes, able to clear it out of the box and keep themselves safe for now.
Yeah, that's it. Zesty actually just puts a shot straight on target. Again, once you have so much attacking pressure, you can eventually rotate through these attackers, cause some disruption in the defensive line, and eventually something's going to break. Locks had a good attempt to get to that shot, but just couldn't quite get the angle on it, couldn't quite get the speed.
Yeah, as we are looking to continue this one. Kickoff, once again, going to go in favor of place to burn. Just for life, though, takes a shot from midfield where Locks, again, kind of forced on that back foot, having to make these saves. I'm a little bit concerned right now how far back, actually, this Monash side is forced to play defense. It means that they're going to have to rely on solo plays to get space, which Locks actually was able to do. So kind of speaking of the devil, what can they do with the ball on that blue side of the field? They have some attacking pressure. Place to burn now, a lot of pressure. Gets completely juked out, and that should have been the attack fizzled. However, Big Yikes got a big bump opening the doorway, but Locks can't put it through.
Yeah, it seems like Monash are a little hesitant to overcommit at this one. Oh, that was just such an unfortunate tap forward, and Zesty in the perfect position to take it straight in again. And yeah, I mean, pace to burn. I think tried to get it off the flat part of the backboard there and kind of sink into the corner where the momentum dies a bit, but just didn't get the touch they might have liked, and Zesty just picks it up, and that's kind of experience there. That's all it is. Like this team, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I like the fact that they actually managed to find some of those offensive breaks, but yeah, the fact that touch just didn't quite go the right way. Those small plays are going to get caught out by an experienced team like UN.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be the case, although I don't really want to call Monash inexperienced just yet. I just feel like perhaps they're getting used to the competitive pace that's being sent at them from this blue side, as we see Jets for Life looking to play through that corner, tries to follow it up with the shot, but one too many defenders in the way. Still a lot of time left in this opening game as Jets for Life again tries to force the play even to happen, but can only go so far with it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you're right, I didn't mean to say Monash is inexperienced. I meant to say the University of Newcastle are so experienced. If you do make a small slip up like that, it's very, very rough. Zesty going up for Vassal, tries to drop it down, doesn't quite get it. The secondary touch also not there. Jets for Life has an attempt as well. It almost gets a couple of solo plays there, but nothing quite going for the University of Newcastle. Of course, going to be happy with that 2-goal lead. Still, I mean, they would like it to be bigger, but they're not unhappy with that. The ball up on the offensive side. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that point.
Yeah, it's a tough one to sort of watch out for as we see Locks try to dribble it through. But just understanding there's a big difference even between scrims, I suppose, and then when you're actually start playing in an event for real. And there is some truth to the fact that, again, for a few of these players, you know, they might be relatively unknown to that competitive scene. They're not the types of players that are out there grinding or competing year after year. Again, I think Locks is, but when it comes to Big Yikes, haven't really heard of them ever before. Trust me, I would remember a name like that. So it's exciting to see how they sort of adjust and adapt to the pressure. Obviously, everyone does deserve one game, one benefit of the doubt. It's why it's a best of 5. We'll be curious to see where Monash goes from here, because at the moment, Lox actually has a chance, can't get that redirecting shot.
Yeah, that's it. And I also have an apology to make. I think it's Big Yikes. That's even
Oh,
better, you know?
that is.
It's the one, yeah. Neither is particularly the best readers, but that's an even better name, you know? Vassal tries to get up there and does manage to pull the ball well away from Lox, who's just not quite able to kind of get the height and the positioning of that one. Zesty goes for a big shot. It's all up to Lox to save it, and does a fantastic job. The defenders may not be able to move in time, but Jesse quite spin around the ball and get a second shot. But Vassal does have that pressure once again. UN locking down the attacking side so well.
Yeah, UON just played this so far forward the entire time. Eventually, they were able to bleed out so much of the resources from Monash that just by virtue of going high, they're able to get that goal. A 3-0 lead in game number 1, probably one that will be held on to until the end of this game unless something drastic happens, like, well, double commits across the middle of the field. But the door is not taken. Big Yike's going to try to once more go for that solo play. Got a favorable pinch, but isn't able to do too much more after that. Final minute of play. UON looking still very much in control.
Yep, absolutely. First game though, and you know, back and forth, an actual dynamic back and forth. It's not like we didn't see any attacking, you know, from the side of Monash. There was still some of that play. They still had opportunities. They still could have managed to even disrupt the attack a little bit and cause quite like prolonged attacks. You might have taken a hit as well as in front of goal. 3 defenders there. They know they don't really have to commit. They don't have to have a player up forward and kind of play that further back. But I am excited to see how the rest of this best of series goes. I think it's going to be quite exciting. These teams will put on what has already been, so far, a pretty good series, but I'm sure it'll only continue to put a field.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where we do go from here. I'm hoping we get to see a bit more confident play come from that Monash side. I mean, Lox, we're seeing it. Good backward pass. This should be a goal, and it absolutely will be. Big Yikes drives all of that into the net. A 116-kilometer-per-hour goal. I should say a 116-kilometer-per-hour dominus goal, because it's the dominus where you drive that dominating power. It's good to get something on the board in our final 5 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely, and it did look more confident that play. They kind of still had a little bit of a, pardon me, it all could kind of stutter in the middle there. Just going to ground this one to make the scoreline look a little bit better. Yep, Big Yike's getting on that. But, yeah, it did look like they were able to kind of power it from the middle of the field off the backboard. You know, there was a couple of players there who picked it up, and there was a little bit of hesitation. But at the end of the day, they still did what they needed to do. If they can kind of bring that same, like, well, we've got nothing to lose style to the beginning of this game, rather than kind of pulling out the last little bit, this could be quite a close series. Already 3-1 on the board early. That's not a dominating victory like we sometimes see. So I have good hopes for the series. I think that Monash, like you say, a bit more confidence, kind of back themselves a bit more on those offensive plays and not kind of feel like they immediately have to rotate back into defense, and they could make a really good run of this.
I would be excited to see if they will be able to pull that off. I have to admit, I do get a little bit worried, though, when for a majority of that game, it did feel like they were on the back foot, and when their best player seems to be constantly the only one making those defensive touches, it's when you kind of need to rely on the others to step up. So my eyes are going to be on Big Yikes as well as Slow to Burn in this one, just because if they start to step up and make similar strong touches like Lox was making, that's when we'll see this team actually start to accentuate, because then it'll be less of a Lox show, as well, Lox actually just got beaten right there, and boom, Pace to Burn is able to get a nice touch. Probably needed to be a little bit more delicate with it, but it did buy enough time for the defense to rotate. Still, look how far forward Newcastle is playing.
Yeah, absolutely. They seem to really like doing that. I don't think that's unfamiliar if you've seen them in previous seasons. The Pace to Burn almost managed to pull past 3 of them, but a bit of a big commit there. I don't want to quite call it a double commit, but it was close. It was like 1 second away from it. Zesty's going to carry the ball straight across the middle field, try to buy a bit more pressure. Big Yike actually managed to clear it out quite well. The ball's in a dangerous position right there, but again, no commitment as Jets for Life has that little bit extra pace in the ball.
Yeah, as we do see Jets for Life now looking to play off that backward. A good challenge in front of the net. Can only go so far. Big Yike's trying to find Vassal, who gets that touch back across midfield, going for the second, fakes it out, but that's a bit of a dangerous fake. Jets for Life barely gets underneath it to keep the ball elevated. Big Yike's another shot off the post once more. Lox tries to throw it back to the middle of the field, and no one's home, and Jets for Life gets the clear.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Lox might have been actually keen to go for that, the goal itself, and just try to ping it straight in the back. But Yeah, they kind of realized they didn't have the movement on it, and there was no one behind them, so it's a bit of an unfortunate position to be in. But at the end of the day, score's still even, and a few more aggressive attacking plays coming out of Monash, which we kind of wanted to see. But again, yeah, have to be a little bit more aggressive, I guess.
Yeah, they are going to try to be that little bit more aggressive for sure as they're staying so far forward. Vassal, though, with a nice touch over to Zesty. Goes underneath the second member. Vassal was looking for a bump, but Zesty was looking for the pass. A little bit of a miscommunication means a momentarily loss of possession just for life. Still going for turtle shots, though. Tells me that Newcastle still feels quite confident with the direction this game is moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, the fact that they still haven't scored yet is good. I know that I kind of just said that, but the pressure is on. It is there. It is, like, the fact that they're starting to use space a little bit from side of Monash is good as well. But Big Yikes had a good attempt on that, but didn't quite put it in the right spot, but it's okay set up for Lox. If Lox can make this play, the 1-2 touch, but didn't quite get that re-angle, they still have the players back. So I like the fact they didn't overcommit on the attack, but they were still putting pressure on. Really much better play from Monash.
Yeah, as we do see some corner play right now. Vassal tries to take that shot, but again, the defense comes through. It looks like an opening straight down the middle. A chance to take the lead is shut down by Zesty. Halfway through our second game, and this is so much more of the Monash we were hoping to see in game number one. Lox has a chance to put a shot on target. Vassal again coming through. But yeah, this is the Monash we were hoping to see back in game number one. And it is coming from, more consistent touches by Pace to Burn in particular. Really impressed with how the improvement from this player who was kind of invisible in game number one, but now in game number two has been showing up.
Oh, hugely so, and Vassal almost had an attempt on that goal. Zesty trying to set up this attack once again. Lox just kind of pings it out, almost caught slightly awkwardly out of position in that one, and actually was just no height there coming into the defender, and Jets actually pings over the top of the first goal of the series. Yeah, that's just one of those things where you kind of just aren't quite in the right spot. You realize that, like, just as the ball's being hit, and you're like, no. But it happens. It happens, I think.
Yeah, it does happen on occasion. A little bit disappointing there. Still a minute 50 to go. Only a one-goal game. And you have to remember, Monash did get that one goal in the final 3 seconds specifically back in game number one. So just the nature of Rocket League, realistically. I'm not going to say that's a specific Monash trait. Just, a reminder that anything can happen until the dying seconds of this game, including perhaps another goal of UON. Vassal has that backboard, giving up on the play, actually, trying to leave it for Zesty, who's going to throw it towards the backboard again. Needed to get a little bit more above that ball. Jets for Life can't make too much of the setup. And again, another missed opportunity.
Yeah, very close, though. I mean, ideally, if you keep making close plays, eventually you'll get one of them. Zesty looks like trying to just take some of the players out there in the front. And actually, Lox, again, another really, really great touch. He talked about that as the kind of the key defending player there. A demo to Vassal. I don't know if that quite meant too much. There was kind of Jets for Life and Zesty on the play, but it has to be Big Yikes to get a group clearance out here.
Oh!
Down the field. Oh, there we go! Cross-field goal.
That's a little bit awkward. You can see just underneath the ball, kind of stuck in no man's land. I believe that was Vassal, who was trying to make an aggressive play and just got beat by a couple centimeters. And as soon as it got past what was at that time the second defender, well, the third defender was rotating back for corner boost, being Zesty. So it just needed one solid touch across the middle. All it takes to even this game up, and all of a sudden Newcastle, they're back on that back foot. Well, equal foot, I should say. They still need to try to go ahead if they want to maintain control of the series.
Yeah, and you said either team can score off just about nothing. And I mean, we kind of saw it there, but again, dying seconds mean so much in this game. Zesty trying to keep the ball out of position, trying to keep it a bit higher than the Monash team can manage. Lox pings the ball up high, but it goes straight for Jets for Life. But again, like Monash kind of establishing an attack, and it looks like Newcastle aren't quite ready for that defensive position. They clear it out though, so it's fine.
Yeah, still final 5 seconds of regulation, and here comes Newcastle. No, Big Yikes stays just underneath and makes what could be a game-ending and game-changing play as Lox drives it to the other way, but no, the shot from Pace to Burn goes down. Dramatics in the dying seconds of game number 2.
Oh, so many. That big double commit on the attack. Lox tries to make the hero kickoff play in overtime. This is our first overtime of the season, so that's exciting as well. I'm kind of keen on that. But yeah, that's exactly it. That was such a dramatic game, and maybe if there was a few seconds more, we might have seen a goal, but that's what that's what makes those overtime goals so exciting. The fact that you have to be so precise with your play. Jets for Life and Vassal kind of playing this, not playing a buddy.
Oh!
Jets for Life goes straight forward, but Locks is there for defense.
Jets for Life was going for something special. It looked like Vassal still staying on it. Zesty actually winds up getting demoed as we see that ball go all the way to the back corner. Jets for Life try to chase it up. Only go so far too with it. Pace to burn. Looking for an opening, doesn't quite find it. So it'll be Zesty to Jets for Life trying to two-team it. But again, they kind of get in each other's way, so can only go so far on that setup as well. A minute into this overtime, and another shot on target by Jets for Life, and again, it is saved. Locks gets stuck, though. Can't move. Vassal does get a shot, but somehow Locks got free.
Well, Locks, that's so terrifying to be, that's so terrifying a spot to be in, but remember the University of Newcastle, while they were still on the attack, Zesty has the ball now. Looks like it's going to be Pace to Burn, trying to run this one forward, trying to make a contest, but kind of got outsped a little bit. Locks does get that that interrupting touch on the drop-down shot. Jets for Life passes straight back, and Newcastle using this pace, using the passing play so well. It comes off the crossbar to set it up, but there's no one who's really just, kind of the ability to ping it into the backboard, so they've given up to the defense at the moment, but the defense aren't able to build any kind of momentum in the corner. Double whip, but it's Zesty who just slams it in overtime. 1 minute 30 seconds only, but at a very intense overtime, which to be honest felt, with all of that tension and excitement, it felt longer than that.
Vassal's fake right there at the end was just mean. And it was mean enough to get them the win. Very well done to the side of the UON Mosquitoes, who kind of come away with a nice victory right there. I feel like Monash looked much better in that second game. I think that goes without saying. They definitely were able to turn it around. However, still need to kind of see them complete a game. They seem to be struggling at times in terms of just following through on some of their attacks.
I feel like they went back into their shell a little bit when it came overtime. I feel like there are a few situations where they kind of like there was a few players who could have gone aggressive, could have made an attack, could have kind of disrupted and put the pressure on, but they were so concerned about being scored on, they didn't set up the offense. And you know, what's it's the best offense to great defense, kind of that whole stuff. There is a bit of that overlap. You are able to put the pressure on your opponents. You buy more time for the rotations. You keep them. You force them to be unable to get that much control. And I think that's something which maybe was conceded a little bit too much by Monash in that overtime. But the way they played in regulation was fantastic.
Well, speaking of good plays in regulation, Monash off of the kickoff. They go full bore on it. Big Yikes wins the challenge in the corner, and Pace to Burn just takes advantage off of a weird touch from Vassal. A little bit fortunate for that play to work out, but the end result is still the same, a 1-0 lead, the first lead Monash has had all series.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, they've got to hold on to it. They've got so much of the game still to play, but if they can kind of hold on to this, they take a game, they feel, you know, much better about where they're kind of at this series. That said, a big defense here. The ball drops straight down. It doesn't quite want to fall right in front of the goal, but it gets dangerously close as Locks is going to try and just ping this one out. But again, no big, strong clear. A double commitment on the defense, but the ball doesn't go anywhere, and I'm surprised that they just weren't able to get that capitalization from UON. But to be fair, the angle was very awkward there.
It was a more awkward angle for sure. Still, UON not giving up on the play, and it's entirely Vassal didn't quite get that centering touch they were looking for. Still, UON's playing far enough forward that they are able to find plays like this. Jets for Life. Once more shut down by Locks, who really seems to have Jets' numbers so far in this series. Been doing a good job in sort of playing spy on Jets. However, no Locks in position for this shot, and that's going to tie the game up.
These saves are so awkward. University of Newcastle are just putting the ball in the most awkward spots they can. That very gentle touch, and Big Yikes doesn't quite get that that full save. You know, the tiniest little degree different, and possibly that ball goes shooting back out into the field, but not quite happening. And University of Newcastle, they play offensive pressure so well. We're seeing a demonstration of it, but the scores are still fundamentally even. And Big Yikes is going to make a bit of a run here. Has Pace to Burn in the back pocket, but yeah, it does get dispossessed in defense.
As we see Jets for Life. Oh! I thought that was a backboard play. Shame on me. It's off the top left corner and in. You cannot have a more perfectly placed shot than that.
Absolutely. I was with you. I was like, we'll kind of let this one sit. You know, it's going to be a setup play or something like that. But no, straight off that tiniest little touch for the redirect. That's like that perfect let in tennis. Well, not let, you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, just It doesn't have to be the serve, but it's still, you know, the return that just hits the top of the net and dribbles down, and you go, why? How?
Yep.
I thought someone tighten the net, please.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But Lox does get a clearance out. They're not going to give that opportunity again. Jets for Life pass the ball out wide. A demo play by Lox actually there, and that actually brought some momentum. But they're going to have to get the first touch on the ball off the backboard, and it should just be Zesty clearance now.
Jets for Life going to follow through as well along that corridor. Net's looking pretty open, but unable to bang it through just yet, as we see Lox have a look. But no, the shot comes from Zesty instead. We're just able to bap that one in. 3-1 lead now in favor of UON, who, again, they win this game. They take their opening series.
Yeah, I love that little shot from Zesty. It was very neat, very cute. Big fan. But yeah, the taking the opening series would be, I mean, it's one of those things where a team like University of Newcastle want to win. Like, they're expecting to win games like this. That's the sort of thing you would be surprised that they, you know, if they kind of did lose this series. But Monash not being able to pick up a game here would be, I mean, a little bit disappointing, but it's not. The fact that they managed to keep fighting and things like that is more the testament to their skill and to how good they are. Once they find some footing and find some confidence, even if it's not in this series, I expect it to be soon. Lox, big save coming across and hasn't quite cleared it out yet, which is, again, another one of their problems. They're having a fair bit this game, but we kind of have to see if they can at least hold on. 2 minutes left, 2 goals to get. The double commitment comes up. They might have had an opportunity, but once again, no resounding clear, no big, strong play. Lox going to try and play this one forward. Doesn't have the teammate there because Vassal was doing a really good job of just shepherding the play off to the side.
As we saw,
right now, it's just a defensive effort.
Yeah, Jets for Life, challenging place to burn, trying to get some space there. We see the pinch going back across that middle of the field. Big Yikes trying to race back, but couldn't quite angle it to go in, and that is a massively missed opportunity. If Big Yikesy was just a little bit faster, it would be a 1-goal game. Instead, we're on the precipice of a 3-goal game as Zesty starts looking for musties. 100 seconds remaining. UON, they dodged a bullet, and they still feel just as confident as they were before Zesty gets his stylish goal. And with a 3-goal cushion, that might be the dagger in this one.
Oh, it would be an ridiculous effort right now for Monash if they did manage to come back in this. It's like, obviously it's possible, but it's like 1 goal every 30 seconds when you've really only found 3 this game, this entire series. So it'd be a huge effort, but they're putting it in. This is the thing. I think, like, this is what demonstrates to me that Monash are a good team who have the ability to kind of win some of these games, is the fact that when it does come down to this point, when they realize, well, it doesn't really matter if we get scored on because we're already down. It's a matter of whether we can find the goals ourselves. They look really good because they're not afraid. They don't get kind of overly, like, scared of the ball and scared of the play. They just commit to things, and I like that. And I mean, fundamentally, if they played like that all the time, they would have taken one of these games. I really believe it.
Yeah, I have to agree, but at that same token, there's just been times when UON seems to get to that next level as well. And I mean, not only just in terms of the synergy, but we've seen the kind of shots that Jets Fan for Life has been able to take. Same thing with Zesty, more so in this third game. Seems to have gotten more unleashed as well. So as much as Monash has been getting stronger and stronger with each game, I feel the same way about UON, at least on that individual level. Like, the big difference to me was UON came into this series playing like a team faster. Their rotations were just clean from the word go, and then as the players warmed up, they became more and more dangerous as well. And we're now at the stage, 4-goal differential, 40 seconds remaining. UON has definitely left their stamp, I feel, on this first series, and this is a top 8 team. Like, they have made playoffs before. They look to make playoffs again, and they're kind of showing us why. Yeah,
that's exactly it. And even then, they don't want to just be like a team who makes playoffs. They want to be kind of challenging some of the teams who just get the better of them. So that's why they're not leaving anything down here. Lox might have an opportunity, but it depends. It's kind of getting a little bit scrappy in the last 20 seconds, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be comfortable. Oh, wait, never mind. Big Yikes, cross the field. Lox just pops it in. Not quite, comes off the crossbar. Of course, these goals probably mean much more. Definitely mean anything in the context of the full series. But it would be nice to see that final goal go over. But you're absolutely right. Exactly what you were saying. We expect UON to make playoffs. I think, to me, the question is whether or not they're able to do more than just make playoffs, whether we're able to say more about the next season. Oof. And I hope we can, honestly. And I think that it's unfortunate for a team who are as good, but have as much to show on the stage, I think, as Monash, coming up against a team who's like, no, we're going to take it to the next level. We want to be one of those top echelon teams. Just kind of getting rampaged over a little bit by UON. But again, fantastic effort from them. And I really, really hope we get to see more of them as the season goes on. I know I say that a lot, but genuinely, I think this team's going to develop so well over the course of the season.
Do we get the instant update on the score for Battlefield? Well, no, we don't. But we do know what the result is. It's a 3-0 victory for UON. Back on sort of that path to see how far they can go in this league. Again, you got to finish top 2 in your groups. And a lot of these groups contain 7 or 8, maybe even 9 teams as teams continue to kind of fall in line. So it's going to be pretty intense for them. In fact, actually, we even might see 10 teams in a group, and where only top 2 go to playoffs. You really do kind of need to win every single match. So Monash, they could be in a little bit of trouble if playoffs are their aspirations, but for finishing strong in this league, well, there is still plenty of time to bounce back.
Absolutely.
Yes, and so from that note, we will now be going to a break. I believe our next matchup is going to be none other than, and I might get this one wrong, but QUT Fatigue versus MQ Nasi Goreng. So that could be a fun match for sure. So QUT, I drank from the wrong mug earlier today against good old Nasi Goreng from MQ. That's going to be our next matchup. Not going to want to miss it. More AEL Rocket League when we return. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, spoiler right there. Not allowed to see that because we got to talk about it a little bit first. It's time for our second match of the evening, and this is going to be a fun one. QUT, one of, my local schools that I love quite dearly, might be in for a roughie because they're against one of the tournament favorites based on rosters, good old Macquarie Nasi Goreng, and I think it's going to be a fun match.
Yeah. I mean, you say fun. It's sort of fun's like it's a term dependent on where you're sitting, I'm sure. But this could be a display of some of the best talent we have in this entire league, and hopefully QUT kind of makes make a run of it because they're not the favorites in this one. I think that's safe to say. I don't know how much I don't know what the best way to put it is, but we were just chatting about where we've seen some of these players elsewhere, and there are some huge names in the field for this game.
Absolutely. As we're going to take a quick look at these lineups before we send it underway for the QUT side, I am just saying Moaning Myrtle and Stone, three kind of newer names to this event. We'll be excited to see how they go up. Unfortunately, they're against a team that I could peg to go possibly all the way in Macquarie Nasi Goreng. Rook is the captain, Zenulus of the Direwolves previously. Not sure which team he's been scrimming with now. Joe Delva, who is in every single stream, everywhere you look, Joe Delva will be there. And, of course, Swanee, who is a player who I always hear so much about, haven't had too much of a chance to actually see and cast. And when I say this, I mean it in the context of, higher-level events, let alone AEL. So, this is... In my eyes, I see this team put together. I'm thinking, okay, this is a team that's meant to challenge the likes of Uni Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly. These are players who you see out there in pretty huge tournaments, and they do well there, so it'll be interesting to see. But this is kind of what we always talk about as the players are jumping onto the field already. We often see these players, we often talk about this. It really is a chance for players who are university players, who are buddies with, all of that, to kind of play against some of the top-level talent in the region, and this is definitely going to be an example of that.
Yeah, I'm sort of excited to see what will happen because right away we are seeing Macquarie on that attack. Unable to put that goal through just yet. Rook, of course, the captain of this lineup, going to be playing with Zentai and Joe Delva. So, again, I want to see more of Swanee. Not going to have a chance to see it in this opening series. That's all well and good. Joe Delva goes for the double. Tried to turn it into a pass as well. Zen unable to finish the play, but Rook will keep the attack moving forward as Moaning Myrtle tries to play through that back corner. Pass forward to Zen. Going to throw it up to themselves. Going for a late second touch. And this is what I mean. This team could be something special.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, there was already that, 10 seconds they already had that first attack on. Then just the 2v1 from Zen. This is possibly how the series is going to go. But I don't know as much about the sort of names from QUT. And that's the thing. QUT are an unknown quantity, so you can't just call the game right from the names. And they clearly are putting up pressure. They are doing what we kind of wanted to see some of these newer teams do, which is not just say, these guys are better than us, let's just sit in goals. They're really pushing up. They're kind of trying to contest. And that is how you cause upsets, right? Fundamentally, that's how you do it.
That is how you cause upsets, but I'm just trying to think, what do even the best defenders do against that shot Zen put on before?
Oh, absolutely.
What is the defense to that? Because the angle at which Zen was able to find that second touch, there was no way that the defense could have seen that one coming. And I will say this, Moaning Myrtle actually I do believe has played in a couple of AELs in the past. That is a semi-familiar name from the QUT teams. But yeah, I don't know. That's got to be a painful one for the opening goal to be something as ridiculous as that. It can hurt the psyche a little bit. I'm with you, though. Keep fighting. Keep putting pressure. You never know. Mistakes can happen.
Yeah, exactly. And even just putting up a good display against a team like this puts so much pressure. Yeah, Delva,
I mean, Moaning Myrtle tried to find that touch redirect, and Joe Delva just said, yes, thank you very much. Joe Delva, of course, actually, I do believe is on the Overt Freestyle team, or could be on the actual Overt team. I need to catch up on what exactly has been going on with Overt. I don't know. Every time I look at them, they've got something different going on over there, but yeah, this has been a fast and furious start. As even a bit of a name change happening. Overt Joe for Joe Delva. Zen doesn't get to the shot in time.
Yeah, not quite 2-0 at the moment, but we're not even halfway through the game. And again, you know, pressure being put on, but at the end of the day, it feels like now we're just getting these huge punishes and these ridiculously good plays. And, okay, well done from him. Just saying, trying to actually get a defense off on that one, but they're so, like, fundamentally, this team, I'm trying to get their actual team name, but for some reason my tab isn't working. Yeah, Nasi Goreng is just doing so well right here. They're such fantastic players, and I don't know how else to say it than that.
I mean, Zen is just putting on a show every time they touch the ball, and this is something that I'm actually really excited to see Zen in this contest, because we've rarely seen players actually of a similar ilk to Zen, because often we will get RLCS players in AEL. We saw it last season. We see it this season. They come through, but it's never been any of like the flashy players, I should say, like the big mechanical ones. Occasionally we get, you know, glimpses of it. I remember Paradise back on GU a couple seasons ago was one of those kind of more flashy players, along with Baked Potatoes. I mean, really that entire team. But at that same token, as Rook is just going to be able to play it off the backboard 2 times to put it through. But we haven't really seen a player quite like Zen, who has that long-term competitive experience. Like, this is someone who's been playing Rocket League at the top level since they were of age, able to do so, which I believe is 16. Now at university, now playing in this event, and already we are just seeing that impact in the very first goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous, you know? Like, it's so much. I actually, in that last goal, just take it back. Not that I disagree with your point, but, like, it's, yeah, absolutely. Like, this player is so good. But yeah, I actually thought in that last goal, I think it was Joe Delver who tried to go for a, you know, a knock on Stone, I think, just to try and make the defense that much harder. And Stone, I think, almost managed to tumble back into the ball with their second jump, you know, with that flip. And that would have been the hero play. And I'm so sad it didn't quite come out. But I'm just saying, putting on a pretty good display here. Tries to pass off the teammates. Moon here, gonna try and go for it, but it's Zen once again, the player we've been talking about, just finding the defensive play. But that's a good attack. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I do like that we are seeing some signs of life coming from the QUT side. They are able to press it onto that orange side of the pitch, but one big defensive pass, and all of a sudden we're going back that other way. Morning Myrtle is going to put one into Rook and actually win out on the ensuing challenge. Joe Delva, though, already back off that backboard. I'm just saying, throwing it back towards the middle. For Zentai again will put it up for themselves. Gets one touch, probably going to get the second as well. Looking to find Joe Delva, who is falling from the ceiling. Oh, okay. Ye are definitely feeling confident right now if they're going for shots like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there it is. It slides in underneath the defense. Okay. I might like another look at this one. Rook, I think, outplayed the defense. I think that's what it came down to. Rook was just like, I'm going to outplay the attacker, this attacking line. The attacking line didn't fall for it, but the defenders did. So, minor unfortune. But at the end of the day, I guess that's what you get for being a little too showy. But a great read, though, from, I'm just saying.
I mean, at this stage of the game, pretty sure Macquarie is probably feeling like they've got this one as we're seeing a helicopter. Oh, man. Zen is really wanting to put on a show right now, and I am greatly appreciative of it. That said, though, I do want to say something that I didn't notice until I'm just saying scored that goal. I thought the literal picture of Nasi Goreng was going to be my favorite sort of logo of this match. And then I saw I'm just saying Steam profile picture. Which,
I can't quite see what it is.
It is a picture of JC with a cool, refreshing Queensland native Forex Cantini in his hand.
That's good.
Yeah, there you go.
He's relatable lad.
Relatable to Queensland. But no, I'm not going to say anything more than that. I'm just describing what is in the picture. Yeah, that's a pretty legendary picture, but that was a pretty legendary game. I mean, Nasi Goreng, it wasn't as dominant as it could have necessarily been because QUT Fatigue, they did play solid defense. The problem was they were forced to play defense almost that entire game.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't quite where they were like being too scared to kind of go on the attack. Like it was just straight up pressure, right? It was absolutely, Macquarie just putting in so much on that like big kind of offensive play. And yeah, like well done to them. Realistically, I still think that play where I think it was Rook who tried to get a little bit flashy on the defense. and then got punished for it by him just saying, that was still really cool. I'm a big fan of that, even if it was the only goal and even if it was like a little bit of arrogance. And
when the double commit saves you because Zen still finds the bump. That's a troubling sign still. QUT now going to be on the attack right now, or at least somewhat. They get that ball up into the box. Rook, weird touch right there. I thought it was going to be a delicate pass to Joe Delva. Instead, it's off the wall. Zen's cheating forward, but couldn't quite have the speed to corral that one. Still on the attack is the Macquarie side. Nice little demo from Moaning Myrtle, who tries to stay up and challenge. Winds up losing out. Stone now a bit of a breakaway. Only Rook on defense, but the ball gets away from Stone, and the defense should be able to recover.
Yeah, and actually is going to be able to pull a big attack in. It's just going to be Moon trying to pull it out to the, out wide, but again, doesn't quite find that clearance. Zayn does, though, so buys the time for that rotation to come out. And he's actually got a bit of space to work with. Only has one defender. Comes with the backboard, not super fast, so the two defenders are both able to go up for it. It was a little bit of a double commitment, but no one able to get to it fast enough. Stone was holding back a little bit further.
Yeah, we see another play off that side wall. Is it going to lead to the strike? Not quite. Moaning Myrtle will clear it back out. Zen puts one up, looking to chase through from underneath. Gets the second touch, not quite. Instead leaves it for Rook, who beats all three defenders with near perfect placement.
Yeah, that's exactly it. 3 there, 2 commit, 1 goal, and yeah, it's Rook who gets it. Just pushes off to the side, and a good attempt again from Stone, trying to like pull forward, use a double jump to get to it. But I don't think anyone was quite ready for the ball to just be there. And it was, to be fair, a little bit of a lapse on concentration, I think. From the side of QUT, and a bit of an uncharacteristic one, as the energy seems to be a little bit lower now, but we know that QUT, if they pull out these fiery attacks, are really solid.
That they are. Rook, though, still setting up the play. I love the follow-through, finding that bump. Now going to throw it back, looking for Joe Delva. Not quite going to connect. Zen started this in reverse, might I add. Going for the reset, got one, but loses control of the ball before getting the second reset. And I am convinced at this stage that Zen is just trying to play a freestyle tournament right now, because every time they seem to get the ball, it is 100% a situation where they have full boost and they're just trying to get away with whatever they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be inclined to agree with that, but at the end of the day, that does kind of open up windows for their opponents to possibly find something, and that's kind of what's keeping this game, part of what's keeping this game so interesting. A nice little touch back, but it didn't quite go far enough to find a teammate. But good kind of midfield control, something else I've been really liking from QUT.
Well, they haven't had chances. Like, when have they had a chance to actually step forward and play in the middle of the field, just because of how Macquarie has been constantly on that attack, like putting threatening shots on target? They've never been able to generate that space, and I don't feel like they have the confidence to commit someone to cheat forward, largely because of how relentless it feels like Macquarie has been. Well, now they might have a chance. Rook had to do a bit of a desperate touch. I'm just saying, might be able to find the opening. The ball is off the ceiling, but straight to Joe Deva, who finds the deep clear, and Rook doesn't even need to touch that ball for it to be a 2-0 lead.
Yes, and I agree with what you're saying, but I think the number of 50-50s which QUT have won in that real tight mid-pitch kind of alley is actually quite high. I think they have the percentage on that one, but like you say, it's so hard to find those at all when you are when you're just getting such an unrelenting attack thrown at you from the side of Macquarie. But you know, it's still kind of the second game. We expect that this is a team we expect to see pretty well in the grand finals. I think we'd be pretty thoroughly surprised if they don't make it. Zen just scores another one, dribbling it through the field. So it's hard to, like, it's going to be really hard to keep playing this one as QUT, to keep that energy at like the absolute max you need to try and take this series. But again, it's a team like this, it's a team like Nasi Goreng who have so many good players that you should feel too bad about that.
I am. You know what this is making me miss right now? And I probably I won't go into too much details, but I am keen for RLCS Season 11 at this stage. Because, like, I want to see Zen not get away with everything that he has been doing. It was fun for a game and a half. Now it's just like getting a bit over the top. Oh my goodness, they go for the pinch. Not quite able to get it right there. But absolutely been super impressed. Again, with this team. I'm not going to go grand final prediction just yet, because there are some other stacked teams in this event. Do not get me wrong. I'm pretty sure I saw the return of Uni Melbourne, not to mention, you know, good old SA beating Lethal, making that return as well, our defending champs. So it's going to be a tough ask. However, I mean, this is a very strong argument right now.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this! Look!
Yeah. Exactly. Like, that's just... You don't... That's one of those things where you're like, you see it, you come into like university league and you're like, there'll be some mates, we'll play against some, like, you know, we're a bunch of mates who play pretty well as well, but like, we'll come against another group of guys who are probably like another, you know, bunch of mates. And no one taught you how to defend against that. Like, yeah, at a higher level, maybe you have the right positioning and the kind of discipline to play against it. But at this level, it's like, nah, I'm just not ready for those sort of things. Almost full cross-field goal, but...
The only other time I have seen a goal like that actually be scored, for the record, was Hawk, like 2 years ago. I just want to point that out there. That not this goal, this was just a backboard, whatever, but that previous goal by Zen, I have now only seen twice. All right, like I'm sorry, but that was next level. I'm the fan in me is coming out right now. The fan of exciting Rocket League right now is coming out. And Joe Delva, nice bump. Ball doesn't quite roll in. Stone is going to make that save. Because, like, this is a little bit nostalgic at this stage. Because I was talking about how Zen, you know, has been pretty much playing this game ever since they were competitive. And when I first started, you know, watching, studying, and learning about the game, Zen was 100% one of the players who I not only watched, but kind of reached out to in sort of like, who should I be learning from and things like that. Who should I be following? So every time Zen gets to play, it's always a little bit exciting, and I know I shouldn't bring in that personal bias, but it's also to further emphasize the kind of impact this player has had on the competitive scene, both like at that top level and how involved they've been and how influential they are. That like this is one of those players that just knows what is going on top of the meta, knows what's up, and is always looking to sort of promote the scene, promote the league and all that. So it always is exciting to see them pop off and put on a show. I feel bad for QUT because if I were to pick a team to root for, it probably would be QUT based on location and work. But, you know, I'm just having fun right now. I'm sorry. The fan is out. I can't bring it back in. Fans.
That is the best way to watch this game, I think. Like, it is such a hard matchup for QUT. It's not the sort of thing you expect them to win. It's not even the thing you necessarily expect them to take a game in. And if they do put up that fight. I'm incredibly impressed with them, and I love how the intensity they came into this game with. It slipped off a little bit, but I mean, it's exhausting to play a series like that when you're not used to it. Like, if you just play ranked in between every game, you go and grab, like, a snack, you know, a drink or something like that. Just going straight bang, 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 3 games against players of this level, I wouldn't be able to keep up that level of intensity. That's way too much for me.
Yeah,
so, you know, like, respect there, but you're right. This is, like, the best way to watch this game is just going to be, like, sit in awe of how good this Macquarie team is. Yeah,
exactly, because QUT, from what I've seen from them, they're not slouches. And I think I haven't been fair to them just by how this game has been going. No, QUT, no slouches at all. The defense they've been putting up is very admirable, and I feel like looking at this team, they're going to be competitive with a lot of the midfield in this event this year. It's just a bit unfortunate they kind of drew this card first. I also want to talk about Rook real quick, because Rook, I admit, player I actually probably know the least about coming into this one, has been very solid in positioning and stepping up, and I've actually been a little bit happier with Rook's touches in comparison to Joe Delva for a lot of this. So if Rook as well is sort of this captain is, oh, you can't break the rule one, Joe Delva. Yeah, see, look, Rook is already a better player than Joe Delva. Like, for that reason alone, I've just been really impressed with Rook. And if this is sort of how the lineup is going to be with or without Swanee, I think this team is going to be fine again to make that deep run.
Yeah, I'm kind of agree with you on that. I think that, like...
Case in point.
Yeah, exactly. Both Joe Delva and Rook just wanted to prove your point right there. Joe Delva playing the heel for a sec, just pretending, and then Rook just slamming a goal. I like it. But yeah, no, I think you're right. That's the thing. When you have, we've seen in the past where there's been like 2 star players and one person who's kind of like, yeah, the third they bring in from their university, and that third player is just sort of sitting there like, what is going on in this game? And the other 2 are just, you know, like aerial dribbles and everything.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Rook the second half of this year, actually, because I just noticed that little Steam logo and what that could potentially mean. So I think Rook is going to be one of those players we're going to be looking out for, both in AEL as well as perhaps in the more professional scene. I just remember this name. I have a feeling as we're going to watch Rook follow it up right now. Pass up to Joe Delva. Defense does get underneath. Moaning Myrtle again has been that best defender we've seen from that QUT side. I'm just saying sometimes has been able to get some attacking pressure, but loses the 50 against Zen, who throws it perfectly to Rook at the same time. Gets that next touch. Zen unable to pinch it through.
Almost though, pretty close, and yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree with everything you said about Rook. Basically, that's all. I think so. I had looked at the logos and I was like, I don't. I'm gonna wait for you to say something.
Revolve.
That looks.
It is
yeah,
Revolve.
Okay.
And the reason why I know Revolve is because they've helped me run freestyle tournaments in the past. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's a good sign. Freestyle tournaments that Zen, was participated in. Not necessarily the same one that Revolve helped put on, but, small world of Rocket League.
Yeah, that's it. And you don't have to call it small. You can call it tight knit. That's not what. But yeah, like this team is phenomenal.
That should be a goal though.
Let's go.
Stop.
Not quite. I love the style though.
They're gonna let one through. Awkward 50 right there. Jodelva tried to pre-flip it, and Stone just had the better read. Eventually, it was going to break. I do appreciate, Zen doing a nose slide as it was going through. But a 1-1 game right now, tie ball game. Look, I'm not sure you were with me that one time when Griffith lost the 2v3 by getting overconfident. It's happened before, but Jodelva's going to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that's it. We've seen teams, and I feel like that's a classic. Like the team who's favored gets overconfident in like the last game. They get really cocky, and then it ends up being way closer than it should be. Or even sometimes they drop it. That's a classic. But
Rook just killed my
that,
dreams. I was so excited. But no, it was an ODL logo. That's fair. That goal is fair too. That was a fair goal. It was completely fair.
Yeah.
Look at. Of course, Jodelva will be, perfect position for that. But this is, it's rough out here.
Open the door a little bit just to get a bit extra speed on that one as well. Just I don't know. Actually, I didn't actually see which side of the car it was. I'm pretty sure it was the right-hand side. So it was Anyway, this game, it's still 1 minute 38 seconds to go, so it's still technically an open game. But given how well Nasi Goreng are playing, I don't expect it to be an open game.
No.
I expect this one to be pretty well solved. I think we kind of did for a while now, though.
Yeah, it's not much more can be said, I think, about the Nasi Goreng side at this stage. When we look at QUT, I mean, wow. Always got to be one. Always need one in a stream fetch. And if you're going to have an own goal, you might as well put it in at one of the toughest angles in Rocket League. Look at this shot. Thing of beauty from Rook right there. Did hit the ground, so I'm only going to give it a B-, but that angle was tight.
Yes, it was. It was a very, very hard goal to score there, but
Rook found a way. And that's how come he was only on the team for ODL. Yeah, I went there.
Yep, you did.
Dude.
I've got nothing to follow that up with now. I'm just like, oh.
ODL is a sore spot for me right now. That's all I've got to say.
That's fair. That's fair. Ooh, almost the 1-2. Almost a little 1-2 there. From the side of QT. It doesn't quite come through. I like the fact they're still kind of going for it, right? I still like the fact that it's still just like, no, it's one goal. One goal, guys. Let's just do it. And Moon goes up pretty well, actually. Puts a big effort on this. Kind of floats it over the top, but Jodelva's there before Stone.
I'm just saying, is running a bit of traffic right there. Moaning Myrtle still going to keep the attack moving forward. QUT actually has been on this attack for a good long while right now. They're going to try to find that pass back. Has two players in the middle. Stone actually went up for it. I'm surprised Myrtle actually gave up possession. That opens the doorway for Zen as Jodelva will steal the goal away. It's all the same. A 2-goal cushion with 15 seconds. That's going to be the dagger of the series.
Yes, I'm inclined to think so. And yeah, like again, QT, they're still fighting, they're still punching. It's like, 30 seconds left. They were a goal down. They're facing a 3-0 against a team who's ridiculously good, and they were still like, no, we got this, don't worry. Passing play, set it up, cross it from over here. We got a chance here. So I like that. I really like that. And something which I need to look at the standings a bit more as the ball gets grounded, and he's gonna. Oh, okay, not quite. I can't quite count right. We'll just do it for the side. And there we are. We have the series locked. But yeah, like remember that 2 teams go through from each group. So we've been talking about the top teams a lot in the last 2 series. We've also kind of been talking a bit about the other teams and who's going to come out on top in the middle of the pack. And that is how I think every every season we see one team we don't quite expect to come through because they do just take that second place spot. They fight against a bunch of other mid-tier teams. They kind of come out on top of that, and then they make it to playoffs. And that's how you get teams like the Macquarie team, who just kind of kept making playoffs. At first, were scraping through, and now I think are just expected to be there because they can build off that dominance. And I think that's why it's so important to look at these teams who aren't quite challenging those top teams, but are really close.
Yeah, I have to agree. Sorry, I'm just getting a little distracted talking to some of the players,
right.
but I just realized we're probably still actually showing that conversation. I just had to show my support right there as I'm gonna bring the camera back to us. Whoops. Yeah, no. That was an amazing series. I think between that opening goal, the recovery from that, along with the goal wrapping around the back of the enemies and finding the redirect to put it in, like those two special goals for sure. But overall, a special series from a special team. Nasi, Goreng, team to look out for. But I'm just going to quickly wrap up and move us ahead to our third game because we do have one more on the evening, which of course is going to include a little bit of a drum roll while I just double check to make sure everything is still A-okay with our last game, which it does appear to be. So yes, our third game is going to be SUT, the Swang gang, taking on the UCID Boosted Boys. So that's going to be a fun game for sure. SUT taking on UCID when we come back from the break. Don't go too far. More Rocket League when we return. Welcome back, everybody. It's been two, well, I want to say exciting matches. They've been a little bit of a one-sided affair, but that's neither here nor there because we still have one more match to be played, and I would like to hope this one could be closer. However, there's going to be a little bit of doubt in my mind because it's the return of our finalists from Season 1 of 2021. Swinburne is back. They've changed their name to the Swang Gang, but the team still largely remains the same. Lethal for Life, Scout, and Zuko. Up against them is going to be the USED Boosted Boys. They have a roster of 3 as well with Sorak, Under Phoenix, and Victorialization. Fetch, are we in for another sort of one-sided affair?
I expect so. Again, we don't know. Like, we never know with these teams. We kind of, I don't know about you, but I wasn't quite expecting as much fight from the last 2 teams we saw. So maybe we just see like the best, strongest ever, currently undiscovered team in all of Oceania. But I expect to be quite a one-sided affair this time. But this is kind of how it goes when you open up the series. There are a lot of these kind of games. And as we go over the course of the season, we will see like more even matches and things like that as teams play each other. And of course, you know, we start to see those top of the ladder matches, or those mid-tier matches fighting out for the second place and fighting out to kind of really establish yourself as a team. But I think this one might be a little bit of a blowout. But again, we don't know. It's hard to say exactly without knowing sort of what USED's bring to the table. Yeah,
I have to agree. This could be... I don't want to go as far as to say it's a blowout because, again, still need to see what USED is going to have. I mean, they are boosted boys, so they're boosting themselves all the way up to the top. But it's our defending second-place team, and it's a team, again, with experience aplenty in all 3 of its members. When you do look at that lineup, again, just going to... Whoa, kind of went too far back right there, but we can bring it back up again real quick as soon as things allow me to. Here we go. Yeah, Lethal for Life, Scout, and Zuko. Scout has just been on the up and up. I'm pretty sure, actually, if I'm not mistaken, just won the ODL with Dynasty, if I am not mistaken at all. I believe it was Scout, Ames, and I'm trying to remember who the 3rd player was on that team. So, and a recent relatively high-profile tournament winner. Granted, it's not the highest of high profiles, but still a high-profile tournament winner. You've got Zuko, who has won Bluebird's rivals in the past, and then you have Lethal for Life, who has coached RLCS major teams, and like this is a team of winners, no matter which way you look at it. But the one thing they haven't won has been AEL, so maybe this is that season.
Yeah, quite possibly. And at the end of the day, we want to see a good. Kind of a good competition for them. We see some newcomers who are incredibly dominant, so maybe they might have a bit of a run for their money. But at the end of the day, with talent like this, with the fact that you've already taken it to the grand finals once, I would be very surprised if this team doesn't just really put in the work this season, to use a bit of a cliche, I reckon, in the esports scene, putting in the work, or in the esports like terms, putting in work. But yeah, I think they'll be quite strong. We're just gonna wait for them to get into the lobby very soon.
Yeah, I imagine it won't be too long right now before they get in this matchup. I think it's going to be a fun show for sure. Again, when we remember this team in the past, they actually kind of were more one of those controlled teams. They would sit back relatively far on their own defensive half until they saw the opening and then look to attack based off of that. Furthermore, when you look at the USED side, well, we don't really know, but for a team that likes to capitalize on mistakes, we'll see if they're going to be able to. I've just had word that they might be actually using their sub, which is Flux, who is also a very, very strong player in their own right as well. Also has that higher level competitive experience, so that could be a keen one to see in this matchup. Hopefully, they will be in this lobby soon. Fingers crossed they are able to get here because I'm just really excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one as well. It's going to be our final series to close out the day. We could see more upsets. So far, we've seen 2 of those 3-0s. But, you know, what's the classic, like, Smash meme? The 3-0, but it was close. Yeah, it's been a bit of the case of it, to be honest. But I hope we see something good. We've seen a display of so much, some new players we haven't seen, as well as the entire strength of some of the players we expect to be kind of very close to the top of the ladder of these games. But, yeah, only time will tell. That's just it.
Okay, so...
Yeah, sorry?
Just any chance we can forward on... I'm being asked if you could forward on the lobby details to the side.
They should be in chat.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just passing on. Just passing on some back of house things.
I added them, and I put the things in chat, so I don't know what else.
Well, don't add Lethal, because I don't think Lethal is playing today. So
okay.
try adding Scout. Scout would be. Actually, no. Zuko would probably be the next one who I would add on that lineup. To be perfectly frank, I'm just going based off of competitive experience, right? I have no idea what their team dynamic is like behind those scenes.
Lethal is the only one in chat.
Ah.
Put forward to be the representative in chat. So if they're not in chat, I don't know what else to do. To be honest, Patrick being the hero, trying to message them, trying to see if they can get through. That'll be good.
Yeah, I believe in you, Patrick. Doing good out there. Patrick. Wait, which player is Patrick? Because none of the usernames in game are Patrick, but Patrick is the Discord name of one of the players. So is Patrick Sorak, Under Phoenix, or Victoriization? I do not know.
I always assume it's the first person who joined, who I think was Sorak. So let's go with that.
All right.
Either way, true hero of the day.
True hero of the day for sure.
Yeah, this is a classic. This is a classic for Rocket League. It's like the last game. Everyone's like keen to get it underway, and the players
week one.
just like, give me a sec.
It's week one. It's week one fun.
It happens in the last week as well.
The first and last week are kind of like that.
It's like, how like viewership. I've heard people talking about this in other leagues. How viewership in the first week is like really good, and then the last week is really good as well to see like the last few kind of race, and then it's like the last little bits of the sort of the middle area where you get like the diehard fans mostly. Yeah, like that's there we are. We're seeing the players jump.
There we go.
It's the same. It's like the inverse for technical issues, right? People just like not ready in the first week, and then by the last week they're like, oh, I've got to play another game.
Look, I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus on stream, but we will be going back. That sounds so ominous and evil. No. It's all good. We are gonna be playing. I think I know maybe what might have. I don't know. I'm just keen. For the Rocket League. I think. As we look at ready to go.
Yeah, we still have one more player to get, I think.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Scout, I believe, to get in, and then we will jump into the action.
Ooh. Yeah, hopefully
we have two.
One. I mean,
it could be a 2v3.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at chat and I'm seeing none of this, so I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Looks like we're going 2v3. Okay, that changes things, but we're going to take our match to the pitch.
A lot. All right, so do you think this is the best shot we have at at an upset here? I mean, is it even an upset if it's a 2v3?
Yes. I will go that far.
Okay.
Oh, I want to see. I want to see what UCID looks like first before we see whether or not we'll call this an upset. Because right now I'm looking at Flux. I'm looking at the fact that Zuko was across the middle, and that almost was the shot. Said Zuko's going to try to slow the pace down. Gets past 1, 2 defenders and couldn't get the dunk on the third. But that's why Flux is there around the middle. So yes, I am going to say it still might have to be an upset.
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right on that one. Oh boy. Well, there's one to start it off, right? That's one goal. We have seen so many 2v3s go the way of
the 2.
Yeah, go the way of the 2. Way more than anyone has any kind of expectation. But yeah, this might be another one.
I still remember the game. It wasn't a series, but it was the 2v3 game that, like, a year ago that Griffith lost as heavy favorites as Zuko gets another goal in as the 3.
Yeah.
So they were heavy favorites going into it as the 3. Got the 2v3 and then dropped a game. So you never know. Anything can happen in these situations. But right now, it's looking pretty solid, like the Swang gang is going to be out in front. 2 goals already in our first minute.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And again, we haven't seen much of, we haven't really seen anything from UCID right yet, but like maybe they open up as it goes. And this is oh, I thought that might have gone for the goal. It's gonna be like, this is where the numbers disadvantage comes in. You can't have the player back, but it doesn't matter. It does go to the wide. That is harder. I was gonna laugh at you for getting that name wrong, and turns out that it's just impossible.
What, Sorak? Or Victoriization?
No. Victoriization, right? I think so. I think that's it. Zuko almost has an opportunity to go, comes off the side post because perfectly over the Flux. He's trying to set that one up, but has to wait so much longer for Zuko. Has to buy extra time for that player to get in position because it's still 2-3. But is able to get back to the rotates. This dynamic duo is clearly very good.
Yes. I mean, we know they're good. We saw them in the finals, you know, just a season ago where Flux actually subbed in, and I'm pretty sure got the one win that the team got in that series with, again, Zuko and Scout and Lethal, who was subbing in and out with Flux, I think, as that game sort of progressed. So it's not as if this is like a sub that's unfamiliar with the team or isn't able to play at that same level. In fact, they're all able to sort of play at that top of their game. And yeah, unfortunately right now, it does look like UCID could be in for a bit of a tougher match right now, as with the 3-0 lead already, the Swang gang feeling pretty comfortable despite being a member down.
Yeah, and you say that the Swang gang has it. You say that the Swang gang has just the advantage. But on the flip side, to counter that point, UCID does have a reindeer. I'm just putting it out there.
True.
Next time we see Top Sorok, that's a huge advantage. Reindeers can fly, right? Like that's something we all know. We've all you know, all of us Australians have absolutely no experience with the animal outside of just being told silly little stories. So clearly advantage is going to go there. There's going to be some big comeback, like children's narrative at the last minute, and that's their win for me, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's going to be yet another goal. So it's now a 4-0 lead for this SUT side. Swinburne, they're just really good. I don't know what to say, like, out more than that. Sometimes the play really does speak for itself in these types of situations. I think something, though, that I do want viewers to pay attention to is how well they do in keeping the ball as close and as in front of their own car as possible. I mean, look at Zuko right here, kind of case in point. Because of the nature of this game, they have to play it that close. They have to kind of slow down the tempo and sort of win a lot of these more nitty-gritty challenges in order to keep that possession. And they've been doing it so well so far. Again, see, the more delicate touch keeps themselves close to the play. This is how you sort of approach these tough situations, because if you just bang it every chance that you get as hard as you can, it's going to be much, much harder to maintain that possession.
Yeah, absolutely. I really, really love them knowing what to do, knowing how to do it. You know, keeping it close, playing it a little bit slower sometimes as well to try and draw players out and try and maximize their advantage. I guess minimize the disadvantage of being of having one player down. Sorok goes for a good shot, but a great rotate back from Flux to be able to save that one. And yeah, you're right. It's sort of everything which SUT needs to do is being done. Zuko with a very good goal there as well to kind of create a 5-goal opening.
Yeah, this is... Get comfy, everybody. Get yourself nice and snug in. If I had a chance, I'd go and make myself another mug of hot cocoa that I had before we started this stream, because this one's shaping out to be one of those longer series, perhaps, if we continue to watch the Swang gang continue to dominate like they are. Swinburne just have been able to find opportunity after opportunity again and again by keeping that ball close, by keeping the possession snug and tight. It's been so difficult, actually, for UCID to really use their numbers to their own advantage.
Look, you're talking about snug and hot chocolates here, and it's making me a little bit sleepy in this game, which is interesting because this game is such a classic and such a very very intense display of like good Rocket League. It's not maybe the highest action game, but that's kind of perfect, right? It's like the difference between and every esport has this, right? Every esport has those games where they're not fast, they're not high paced, and then to be fair, this is very fast in terms of the score. But they are just more displays of skill, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing. It is very satisfying.
Well, I've said time and time again that Zuko is one of the most dangerous players at doing what we just saw, which is getting the ball from their own backfield and taking it the distance. We catch this one right here under Phoenix, unable to get that read. Zuko, a near perfect flip. Able to put that one through. An ESL monthly champion, by the way, in case you weren't aware. Able to get that. And now we're looking at that 6-0 lead. As I said, everyone, you know, on the Swinburne team, they've been a champion in one way or another, except in AEL. And that's why I'm kind of saying, you know, perhaps this is the season. Perhaps this is where they finally come through.
Yeah, and I, like, with displays of skill like this, I would not be surprised if they do. We've seen so many good teams kind of coming forward this over the course of the day, and I think this might be one of the strongest. It looks like Under Phoenix is going to get the first goal of the game for the side of UCID, but yeah, they've got to, like, they can't just get one goal and kind of sort of be like, well, we did something if they want to kind of take this series. Getting beaten in the numbers disadvantage, it feels bad, but again, the team of SUT clearly know everything they have to do in this game.
I was about to say that goal might have been a trap, though, Fetch, because we are 1 goal away from the dreaded Brazil scoreline. Fortunately for you, Sid, it's not going to be found. But if you want the 2v3 statement, yeah, 100% it would be getting the 7-1 Brazil down, remember, 15 shots to 3.
Oh my god, yeah. Hey, to be fair, everyone on UCID contributed though. Everyone got 1 shot, that's equal contribution. That's balanced stats, and that's what I love to see.
Oh, true. Yeah, so UCID, you know, pretty happy. They're sharing the shooting opportunities. Everyone got their chance. Only one of them able to score. Of course, it was under Phoenix. However, 6 goals, 15 shots taken by the Swang gang, and that was in the warm-up game. I imagine it kind of gets a little bit worse from here because if, you know, coming into the lobby has told us anything, Swang gang were pretty chill. I'm not sure they were, you know, really warmed up, ready to go into this one. It kind of caught them a little off guard, and now they're warmed up. They've played their let's get ready game. Do they just improve from here?
I mean, if that is the case, oh no. I mean, Flux just pulls that one out from the front of Sorak. And yeah, it's looking like that a little bit. I mean, there's a bit more pressure being put on by UCID, but still they're trying to do everything they can in terms of using that advantage. Zuko just off the backboard, the 1-2 touch. Yeah, all right. I think you're right. I think that's just it's gonna be.
Oh!
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Oh. That, like, I'm happy we got to see that one again just to see how tight that angle actually was in order to squeeze it down. I feel like, unfortunately, for the side of UCID, it is just a case of one team has a bit more experience at that competitive level playing against people that sometimes force you to play this more passive, I don't want to say passive actually, the more conservative attacking style, which really benefits in the 2v3. Watch this again. Oh my. Not only are they keeping it close to themselves, Fetch, but they're doing musties at the same time.
Yeah. Was that a double? Okay, no,
it was just a musty.
I couldn't quite see it, but just pops one.
Just a cash musty. You know what? Lethal might not be playing in this game, but I'm sure wherever he is proud of the musty being put through. The self-proclaimed king of the musty in OCE, not in terms of pulling them off, but at least in terms of judging and rating them. Not sure he'd give that one the highest rating, but hey, at least it was there.
In a 2v3, where you're kind of beating your opponents well enough to feel comfortable doing something like that, that's going to get extra points, right? Like, for degree of difficulty, at least. Even if it doesn't get like technical style.
I may or may not have even passed on the message that his team's pupil is still pulling off musties in the 2v3. Either way, 2-0 lead so far. Zuko's going to clear that ball across the middle of the field, play through the corner. Pass back over to Flux, who gets demoed, actually, and that's something we haven't seen yet. UCID going for some of the more physical play. Fake musty from Zuko does cost the defense to bite, and now Flux has a chance, but with no boost, cannot follow it up.
Yeah, exactly. And Storok actually has a breakaway here, has an open goal, just bops it in. 2-1 now with 3 minutes left to go. Possibly, this is where you see the upset. But given how SUT have basically just been throwing all of the like silly, exciting plays at the wall and seeing what sticks, I expect them to at least just make sure they can, put a few more away before they get back to that.
Well,
maybe not yet, but
we'll see. We'll see. Hey, there's still a lot of time left, a lot of opportunities for mistakes, and a lot of opportunities for fakes as Flux nearly gets it past 2 defenders. Only got it past 1. Now Zuko has a chance. A little too tight to the backboard. Flux has to race back, but Victorianization unable to really get that driving shot forward. A missed opportunity for UCID. Looks to be turned around at the moment. Zuko wins the challenge midfield, collects boost as Flux looks to set up the backboard. Here comes Zuko, lobs one up. It's going to chase. Has to go for the double, but will not be able to find it.
Yeah, and Flux just pulls back. Doesn't want to get that, kind of over.
Oh!
Demo! UCID is starting to figure out that, maybe we can make it a 2v1 if Zuko scores here again, though. Take a 2v1 and 3v1, and they do it, and they get scored on.
Oh, Look at this fake, though, because Under Phoenix totally is expecting Zuko to get that second touch, and Zuko just holds back and watches the ball sail in the moment Under Phoenix committed more towards that left side. And you learn tricks like that playing ones, and not just playing ones, but dominating ones. That was mean.
Yeah, that was very mean. This whole game, this whole series is a bit mean. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock. It is still only 2 goals in it. But again, the sort of skill, the sheer level of talent and skill in this, like the side of Swang gang is just too much here. Flux doesn't have to go for that one. Just kind of plays a little bit slower. Gets a chance to sort of take that contest, and only they have to be under Phoenix here and pass it back off to Zuko. And this is sort of passing plays, which is so good in this.
Oh!
Zuko just gets it.
What was that angle? I want to see this one again. I mean, okay, 65 Ks. The angle was like maybe 80 degrees. That'll be a C+. I thought it was a little tighter than that initially.
Yeah.
Still, 4-1 lead, feeling pretty confident. And I can't help but start playing, a little bit of matchmaking in my head at this stage. Like, because once upon a time, way back when, and this is the last I'm going to talk about the certain player whose name starts with Z and ends in N on this stream today. But Zuko and Zen were teammates at one stage. It should be worth noting. So now I kind of want to see these two kind of go at each other in an AEL situation. Victorialization is going to score the open goal. Bring it back within 2 minutes and a half remaining. Perhaps this game's not quite over yet.
Yeah, I like how Flux is just like, I like how Flux is just kind of sitting behind, ready to pick that one up, but it didn't quite work out. Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. I'd like to see that little grudge match, though. It sounds exciting. Sounds like a pretty fun time. Flux is going to pass out wide, but I think, that's it. Flux sets that one up for Zuko. That was lovely. Not selfish. Really good team camaraderie. Can you imagine being the third player coming back into the game, and just being like, wow, they're best friends. They went and 3-0'd without me. These guys, they're gonna be so they're so synergized.
That it was lovely. I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean, it was a tough play from Flux. I mean, to wrap yourself around that ball and just stop it dead as it tracks like that is amazing. Great dribble from Zuko. Is it going to go in? No, it's going to get saved. Nice job by the defense to drag it out right there. But yeah, I mean, what lovely is a perfect word for it. Lovely passes, lovely little passes. That almost was another one, but Flux couldn't quite get themselves behind that ball.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, they've actually got a 1v1 here against Under Phoenix. I think that's the situation they were in before. Might have been Zuko. He's just going to pick this one back up straight in the center. And Flux a pretty big opening, but actually pass it back up to Zuko there. Off the crossbar, and maybe an opportunity here, but Under Phoenix goes a little bit wide for it. That's area, which is currently contested by Zuko.
Oh. Thank you, Under Phoenix. Just bumped Zuko right into the play, who was able to follow it through and make the clearing save. No one in front of him, but no boost. What can you do with one boost? Try to get the Musty. Doesn't quite get it. Flux will bang it towards the net. Defense does fall back to make the first save. Zuko still with no boost. Keeps the pressure on. Eventually, we see the clear.
I think Victorization was the only person anywhere near the goal there with any boost. And it was just sort of like, that's why they had to make the effort. Or demo, but the Flux. 9 seconds left on the clock, though. Game 2 pretty solidly, I'm gonna say, going in favor of the Swang gang. Ball just has to be grounded now. Zuko's gonna do it, and there we are. 1 game away from taking a potential 3-0 in the 2v3. Throwing a lot of numbers at you, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. This is just SUT kind of popping off, and we still don't know how good UCIT are. Because it's not like getting beaten by a team like this is particularly like, if this was like a middle of the pack team and they're getting 2v3'd, I'm like, well, that's rough. But like, they could still be like the 3rd or 4th best team in this group.
Yeah, it's hard to make a good read. I do agree with you on that. I do have to propose the question, though, because during the final 3 seconds of that game, we saw that demo. Like, it was Zuko took out someone. And I have to ask, is that considered poor form, when you're 3 goals up, getting a demo against an opponent's? But when it's a 2v3, is it the poor form? I don't know. When you pull off ceiling shots like this, I don't think anything matters anyways. What is that pass? What is that shot? For a team playing 2v3, they should not be that confident to be that far forward.
Yeah, And I mean, I honestly think it's more bad form getting a demo in a 2v3, but like.
But then it's the team with 2.
I mean, that's it, right? Like that's fine. I don't understand. I really don't know at this point. This game has destroyed everything I understand about Rocket League. Not really. This is not. This is not.
Oh,
that one was very close. And
no!
Fantastic. That was the save, right? That angle was a little bit tricky to see. That defensive save was more going on a slightly more awkward angle, and I think Swang was ready for. Or a bit of both, probably.
I mean, we're seeing these shots come through. That's gonna go in. Tie ball game as Under Phoenix finally is able to capitalize on an extended offensive play that we haven't seen. The demos now coming out, and that's what we need to see from UCID. It might be, you know, a little ungentlemanly, but hey, you know what? At the end of the day, who cares? The concepts of what is and what isn't gentlemanly got thrown out in the 1800s. I want to see more carnage, more action, especially if it brings UCID back into this game.
We saw someone break the rule one before, so I'm not. Yeah, this is play to win. Do everything you can. Zuko clearly got the memo for that one. And I think to be fair, if you are okay, here's the thing. If the golden rule, right? Never punch down, always punch up.
Yeah.
At this point, you know what? I feel like you can justify. I mean, maybe not anything. That's a bit too far, but UCID can justify a heck of a lot given how high SUT are. Like, there's a fair bit you can justify and still call punching them at this point, just because of how the game's going.
So we watch Zuko start to fall back. Ball will make its way to the backboard, passing it forward, intercepted by Sorak, but not really able to follow it up from there. Sorak a little bit out of position. Now Victorialization is going to be the one who throws it up. Now we have the defense recovers a double commit, and Zuko beats them both.
Yeah, that's it. Fundamentally, if stuff like that's going to happen, that's you know where their numbers advantage does get nullified. 2 players in the same spot taking up the same space kind of means that you aren't really getting the full value of both of those 2 players. And as such, it ends up being sort of like a glorified 1v1 almost. And Zuko wins this, right? We kind of talked about it. I mean, both Flux and Zuko win. Zuko definitely has the advantage. Under Phoenix still kind of looking forward. He's going to make these goals happen. Zuko might have to move across the field, but he might have the speed or the angle to go straight on. A little whiff there as Flux is going to set up Zuko, who should be able to rotate back, but I don't know if they quite have the angle. Never mind, it doesn't need to happen as a double touch off the backboard for Flux. And yeah, this game is probably well out of reach for you right now.
Yeah, no, the double touch through traffic, putting it in. Under Phoenix, giving props where it's due, a 3-goal lead, and Swinburne, yeah, they should be feeling like they've got this one pretty well wrapped up. Just need to not make any continuous egregious mistakes for the final 3 minutes of this game. In fact, Flux might even have a chance right here. Is actually opting to hold back, had no boost available, but Zuko still finds that clear.
Yeah, exactly. And Zuko just managed to get it in off the back of that one. And we're seeing, this might be the game. This might be the game where we're seeing the Brazil scoreline. But, you know, there's still a few more to play into this one. So a bit more to,
Still 3 minutes.
A bit more to play off this one. Exactly. Still 3 minutes. So we don't know how this is.
I mean, look, I'm going to call it. I'll put my reputation on the line and call it and say I'm pretty sure Swinburne's going to win this game. I'm feeling adventurous, even if Sorak gets that goal here, which they did, thanks to a nice save by Flux. But then again, my reputation when it comes to prediction shouldn't mean much. I don't know. I'm feeling confident here. 6-1 lead, as it just looks like the score is being run up at this stage.
Yeah, so if exactly 2 goals are scored in the next 2 minutes and 42 seconds, what do you reckon? Okay, that's what I want. I don't care about the winning prediction. Do we see the Brazil scoreline coming out in this game? And then is that the BM? Is that the ultimate just like bad play?
Now that's what you want to achieve. That is, you know, finding the road to El Dorado. That is, you know, alchemy and brewing gold. That is the Brazil scoreline. 7-1. It's done in the 2v3. A member down. Swinburne gets the Brazil.
But do they hold it for the next 2 minutes 30? That's what I want.
Ooh.
Because that's where it gets BM, I think.
We'll see.
Also,
I mean,
I always thought it was 8-1. I'm really bad at memes.
Yeah, no,
it's a blind spot specifically to memes.
A blind spot to both memes and 2014 World Cup soccer at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. But that was never in doubt. Doesn't even, not even 2014, just in general, you know?
Was it 2014 or was it 2012? Do I have the year wrong? I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
One of those years.
Here's the thing, I don't feel like I know any, like, the results of just about any kind of European football game. Oh, they might get another one. Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but what's funny about it, though, is you call it the European football game, yet the team involved that everyone kind of memes on is from South America.
Yeah, it's South America. Okay, but that's the thing. People get mad when you call it soccer. But if you call it football in Australia, that could be one of, like, 6 different things.
There's too many footballs.
There's too many footballs. Exactly.
Well, okay, according to you, what is the true football?
AFL, no. I'm sorry. That's just football. It's just Australian football. AFL is, like, the league overseeing it. It's just Australian football. And if you're in Australia, surely that would be football. And, like, I'm not going to get mad if people call other things football, but, like, I don't know what else to call it, you know? You can call it after the league who runs it, but that'd be like calling, oh, hey, I'm going to play a few games of RLCS, meaning Rocket League, not RLCS itself, right? That's weird.
Okay, but here's my counterpoint. Because, like, there are other games with football in the league. Like, let's go with the NFL, the National Football League. So then do we take AFL and make it footy?
That's how I usually do it. Usually that is the distinction I make. But that's like, people also call it gridiron, so it does have another name. If people want to invent another name for AFL, then I'm happy with that. Footy works as well. That's like a nice distinction. But I don't, like, there just isn't another name, you know?
Yeah.
It's just Australian football.
Fair enough. So that's what you have to go with. And soccer has another name, and it's a name that is there to, funnily enough, upset the teams that are actually good at the damn game. Either way, 7-1 scoreline. It has been held on to thus far right now with only 30 seconds to go. Flux is going to try for that touch right there. Lob one up, chase it up. Zuko waiting from behind. See if they can pull off something special. Nope, not quite. I think they are trying to hold the scoreline, Fetch. I think that has been their end goal because with 10 seconds remaining, it looks like they're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, 8 seconds left. Unless they, it feels like right now, unless their opponents manage to run the entire length of the field, unless you, Sid, are able to do it, then that's it. They held it. We called it. That was exactly what they were going for in Swang Gang. Do take it, the 7-1 scoreline. And I don't know what else to say. I think we've said everything about this game we can. We want to see more from you, Sid. We want to see more of their games. We saw a 3-2, a 2 plays 3 victory, I should say. They got the Brazil in the end. They got the 3-0 with a greater game score. Swang Gang, they're good. They're a good team.
Yeah, they are a very good team, and I mean, they went to the finals last season for a reason. They were actually my pick to win it, but they came up just short. Either way, excited to see what they can do in this season. For the UCID boosted boys, though, they'll have another chance to bounce back for sure as the season progresses. However, as for us, that is our last game of the evening, Fetch, but fret not. There's still going to be more games tomorrow. But before we get into that, a real quick recap of the 3 games we had today. We opened up at 7 p.m. where we saw UON, the Mosquitoes. They got their win over Monash. Then we saw the Macquarie Nasi Goreng get the win over the QUT Fatigue. And then in our last match, we saw the Swang Gang beat the Boosted Boys. And all 3 of these series were 3-0s.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it was just the fact that we had such talented players, such talented teams, the top of this kind of ladder, and playing teams who are middle of the pack. It wasn't even like they were bad teams. They are middle of the pack teams. Again, we don't know anything about you, Sid, so I'm not going to make any big statements about them. But yeah, hopefully we do get to see more of them for the sake of getting a sense of the field and also the rest of these teams vying for possibly those 3rd, 2nd spots in their groups.
Yeah, I think we will be having a chance to see some of them, but we're also going to be seeing some other teams tomorrow night. So if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, be sure to come back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. AEST. We're going to be starting off with UON, the Platinum Nums, taking on Curtin University. Then UCID's Open Net Esports will take on Southern Cross Yellow, and we'll be finishing off the evening with ACU versus RMIT Black. And I remember RMIT Black from last season. That's a team that you want to keep your eyes on.
Oh, 100%. A few of those games could be kind of interesting. Not quite so many dominant names as we saw here. Fewer newer ones, and I think that should be a great series to watch. So hopefully everyone tunes in. I believe it's the same time tomorrow.
7:30. 7:30 p.m.
7:30. Okay, close enough. Keep an eye on our social medias. You'll be able to see exactly when the games do go live.
Absolutely. And one more time before we sign off for tonight, one last thank you to our sponsors for this event. Of course, speaking about Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and Rig, without which we wouldn't be able to put on, host, and participate in these great esport events at AEL. Always love having everything you provide for us. And on that note, Fetch, any parting words before we sign things off for tonight?
Nope. Not really any, sorry, but thank you everyone for watching. Thank you again for our sponsors, like you said, pretty much just recapping everything you've already said.
Awesome. Well, I've had a lot of fun. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you out there on the pitch. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, and I'm off to go watch some Mel Brooks.